It's your boy, Markio. And we back at it again with another reaction, man. Today we got a video for y'all, man, where they are explaining why Michael Jordan owned the 90's. You know what I'm saying? Of my knowledge, he definitely owned the 90's, 100%. Like, how do a player damn near won all the championships in the 90's? If Michael Jordan would have never retired, he damn near, the whole 90's would have been really his. Like, I ain't gonna lie, that's just crazy, bro. Just to see, like, nobody in the 90's really was winning championship like Mike. The man won 3. He said, let me go play baseball, man. For 2 years, come back and won 3 again. Like, the man owned the 90's, man. Like, literally, you know. But before we start this video, man, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. I love each and one of y'all, man. Without y'all, man, I wouldn't even be recording or filming videos. But I love y'all opinions and what y'all be bringing to the table in the comments. And yeah, let's get straight into this video.
The GOAT, greatest player of all time.
Facts.
A debate which has been percolating around various NBA hot stoves for the better part of 60 years. And generally the individuals who owned each decade, beginning in the 1960s and running all the way until today, are the players most commonly found in these top 10 conversations and GOAT debates. But who are the GOATs of each decade, and how thoroughly did they dominate their specific eras? In most cases, many if not all decades are up for some kind of debate. Was it the individual dominance of Wilt, or the leadership and winning of Russell that ruled the 1960s? And while Kareem was the greatest individual of the 70s, he hardly produced a stranglehold on the league, winning only 2 titles in that 10-year span that were separated by 9 years in between. While the 80's were a pure coin toss between Bird and Magic, and even more recent decades lacked the separation many may think. In really only one obvious case can you say a player declaratively and singularly owned an entire decade. Not surprisingly, that player was Michael Jordan, and that decade was that of the 1990's. While Jordan predictably did not distance himself from a stat accrual standpoint here, as his 15,261 total points scored during this 10-year span doesn't even rank in the top 15 all-time for highest scoring decades. In fact, it isn't even the highest total of that decade, as Karl Malone scored well over 5,000 more points than Jordan during the 90's. And during that 10-year span, few filled up a stat sheet like the mailman, delivering per-game averages of 27 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steals, and 1 block per night for this decade. Malone was named an All-Star every season of the 90's, while being named first-team All-NBA 9 times, with 1 second-team All-NBA selection sprinkled in, and adding 3 first-team defensive selections as well. Malone did all of this while missing only 3 total games during the entire decade, producing a resume that should place him at the very top of any GOAT list, not just the 90's. However, there was one all-important thing noticeably absent from Malone's resume during not only this decade of the 90's, but for his entire NBA career. Yes, of course, Malone failed to capture even a single NBA title during this 10-year span. And of course, the 90's ushered in the golden era of the big man, as joining Malone was Shaquille O'Neal, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, all rising to prominence in the late 80's through 90's. All of these players to this day a fixture in NBA all-time top 50 to 75 rankings. But there was one legend right in the middle of it all that was arguably better than them all, even if he was only a dream. And while Hakeem Olajuwon's true prime ended before the decade of the 90's concluded, he produced arguably the best playoff run in NBA history, beginning with the 1993-94 season. A season where he was first-team All-NBA, first-team All-NBA defense, league MVP, and defensive player of the year, while winning the championship and being named Finals MVP. The list of other players to accomplish that in one season includes no one. In the playoffs that season, He beat the 47-win Portland Trailblazers in the first round, led by Clyde Drexler. In the second round, it was the 56-win Phoenix Suns, led by Charles Barkley. And into the Western Conference Finals, it was the Stockton and Malone Utah Jazz, before beating the Patrick Ewing Knicks in the finals. Houston's second best player on this team was Otis Thorpe, who averaged 14 points per game and made one career All-Star appearance in his
Dream was really like that.
career. Simply put, this is one of the most ludicrous playoff runs ever when factoring in the competition and his supporting cast. And after the Houston Rockets would win only 47 games the following season and finish as just the 6th seed in the Western Conference playoffs, Hakeem would go full-on legend in the 1995 playoffs, beating the 60-win Stockton and 2-time league MVP Karl Malone Utah Jazz in the first round. Yes, a 60-win opponent in round 1. And in the second round, it was the 59-win former league MVP Charles Barkley's Suns, before getting into the Western Conference Finals and facing off with the 62-win San Antonio Spurs, led by that season's league MVP David Robinson. Once Hakeem cleared these hurdles, waiting for him in the NBA Finals,
they had some true bigs back then.
MVP Shaquille
like
O'Neal,
actually
and
big men
would dominate
that play like they rose.
and Shaquille O'Neal in the NBA Finals,
and not shooting
sweeping
threes,
them 4
back to
games to
basket.
none. 4 rounds, 4 league MVPs, and a collective winning percentage of his 4 opponents of 73%, the highest faced by any champion in NBA history. Hakeem is one of the very greatest full-court players in basketball history, and for the decade of the 90s, he averaged 23 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, and nearly 2 steals. And joining Hakeem were other great players and teams throughout this decade, from Charles Barkley and his Suns squads, to the aforementioned Stockton and Malone Utah Jazz, to the loaded Seattle Supersonics led by Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, that averaged 60 wins per season for 6 consecutive years in the middle of the 90s, and even that meteoric rise of the Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway Magic in the middle portion of the decade. And none of them won shit during the 90s, thanks to one player. And as great as many others were during this decade, anything they accomplished during the 90s pales in comparison to the one and only Michael Jordan. Yes, he didn't lead this decade in total points scored, but that is, of course, because Jordan played only 6 full seasons of the 10 years within this decade, retiring for the entirety of the 1993-94 season and the vast majority of the 94-95 season, before retiring again at the end of the 97-98 season and sitting out the last 2 years of the 90s. But during the 6 full seasons he played, Jordan led the decade in points per game at 30.3, which is over 3.5 points per game more than Karl Malone during this decade, while being named All-NBA First Team and First Team Defense all 6 years. So Jordan was the best player at his position on both sides of the floor for the 90s, while scoring at a substantially higher rate than anyone else, leading the league in scoring all 6 years. And of course, most importantly, he won at an absurd level, as he went to 6 finals in those 6 seasons he played, winning all 6 of them. There is no conversation to be had here, no close calls or coin tosses. What Jordan did in that decade of the 90s was the most complete and thorough domination by any player in any era of basketball history, which is why, to many, Jordan stands heads and shoulders above everyone else, even on basketball's Mount Rushmore. And while that does conclude our look at the 90s, make sure to subscribe and tune in for the next episode of The GOAT by Decades, when we take a look at an absolutely stacked decade with a multitude of top 10 to 15 all-time players, the 2000s.
Jordan is different, bro. Like, he is like one of one. Like, it would never be another Michael Jordan ever. Like, his statue, his aura, his ability, substance. Bruh, I'm lost for words. I'm really lost the words because I feel like all these years studying Michael Jordan and his game, I start to understand over the years, like, he was different. His approach was different. If y'all seen the documentary, he respected his teammates when he first got on the team, but his mindset was to be out the captain of the team, the leader. And that shows how much greatness became with him. Like, he was so different that he wasn't scared of nothing. He wasn't scared to say anything. He was bold. He was a captain. He was a leader. He was vulnerable. He was exciting. He was confident. He was smart. And he always was willing to go to the highest, to the moon with this game. And that's what I love about Mike. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, I seen the highlights and stuff. I'm like, oh, he different. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, he flying and like he dunking on everybody. The 23 looks so fly. You know what I'm saying? The Jordans, the way he had his arm, his elbow pad, he had his leg sleeve, and the bald head. Is like, dang, like he a different breed. But then when I start getting older and start getting more wiser and start really paying attention to the details of the game of basketball, I start to realize, oh, like his journey, I love his journey. You know what I'm saying? He come in the league with a chip on his shoulder, right? Like, you gotta come in the league with a chip on your shoulder to be one of the greats. And that was already in his mind when he was in college going into the league. I gotta have a chip on my shoulder. I'm going against dogs. I'm going against professional hoop basketball players. This is the pro. You know what I'm saying? And he started off his few years as a machine. I'm talking about coast to coast, 100% every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, young Mike was different, dunking on everybody, flying past everybody. These different type of reverse lays, like high off the glass left hand lays, like just floating in the air, like he was a eagle or something, right? Then he started getting older. You start to realize, like, dang, he got older, but he slowed down, but he's still effective, super effective, but with limits. You understand what I'm saying? Limits. He got limits with everything. Limit with his dribbling, limit with his pump fakes, limit with his dunks. He was patient. He made the game look so easy. I'm talking about the game just looked so easy when he got older. Like the jabs, 1-2 pull up, left and right from the middle, splitting, going through the lane. He ain't even got a dunk. He just laying it, making it look easy. Like, he beating you off pump fakes and jabs. Like, Mark, I'm recording. Oh. He beating you off jabs and pump fakes easy, simple. You know what I'm saying? People say he couldn't go left. His left was dangerous. As much as his right, his left hand was dangerous. But that's what I like about his game. It just started evolving, but it started getting easier. You know what I'm saying? It's like in the beginning, I don't want to say he made it hard for himself, but he was still getting 30 easy. But when he got older, it just slowed down. Like, I know how to get 6 points quick like this. I know how to do that quick. You know what I'm saying? So he went through a lot too, from the bad boy Pistons and all that. Like, Jordan was going through a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I'm learning so much, you know what I'm saying, at a young age about the history of basketball, because like I feel like we all young people need to understand how great Michael Jordan really was in his prime. You know what I'm saying? And he's still great. You know what I'm saying? Billionaire right now. Shoes is the best shoes in the world. The man his life is completed. to this day, man, people still like be happy to see him. Like his aura is different, you know what I'm saying? But oh man, bro, Mike in the 90s was different. That's the title of the video. In the 90s, nobody could mess with him at all. But make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all want to see next, man. I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all so much. Hope you're having a blessed day. Happy Sunday to all y'all. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Shout out to that North Carolina jersey, man. And your boy is out.